Hello and welcome to this edition of your Arlington Dollar. I'm here with the chairman of the Arlington's Finance Committee, Allan Tosti. Al, thanks so much for coming in.
Okay, I'm happy to be here.
Clearly two very large financial items to consider coming up here in the very near future are a pair of rebuilds, school rebuilds, one for the Arlington High School, which we may talk about at some future date, but for today, we'd like to talk about the Minuteman High School situation.
Yes.
I think that many people understand that Minuteman is a regional vocational high school that draws students from 16 member communities.
Yep.
With that as the starting point, can you kind of tell us how did the agreement to set up this school even come about? And what are the general parameters of that agreement?
So in the late 60s, communities came together, formed a committee put together a proposed regional agreement, went back to the 12 towns at that time, got approval from the 12 towns, and then along with bond authorizations, and then proceeded in the early to mid 70s to build Minuteman. We made a horrendous mistake back in 1970s in approving this regional agreement. Not because we shouldn't have had a vocational school, it offers a great deal for many of our students, but because the regional agreement was so unfair to Arlington in the type of district we have. The problem is all the governance of the district is sort of one town, one vote. On the regional school committee, there are 16 or 12 members back then, but we had one vote out of the 12 and then 16. Our town meeting had no more authority than Dover's town meeting, to pick on them, even though Arlington today sends 150 students and Dover sends one. In order to pass an amendment to the regional agreement, you need unanimous consent. And in order to leave the district, you need unanimous consent among all of the towns.
That brings us closer to the current situation, and the current situation is that Minuteman is in need of a rebuild. And my understanding is that the MSBA, the state board that oversees such projects, has agreed to that and will provide a certain amount of funding for this rebuild. Is that right?
That is correct.
Is it true then that each town has to also approve of the funds that would be required for the rebuild?
There are two alternatives in passing the bonding authorizations. The regional school committee must vote, first of all, to authorize the debt. So you can easily have 11 towns, it has to be by a 2/3 vote.
Okay.
You can have 11 towns who represent maybe 25% of the population of the school force this on the other towns who don't want it or want to change position. And then it goes to the town meetings of each of the member towns. Any one of the 16 can veto it. However, there is an optional plan, which I believe Minuteman is seriously considering now, which is they can go directly to the citizens. So they could have a district-wide vote where the polls are, they choose the date, the polls are only open for 8 hours, and it's majority rule. So they can, in effect, bypass the town meeting. And we are going to need a major rebuild of the Arlington High School, which is, I think, in desperate need of that. If they ram this Minuteman rebuild project down our throats, it's $2 million a year in debt service. That's a big chunk of money, right out of our pockets on that. So unless we're able to get a debt exclusion from the people for that amount of money, it's a substantial sum of money. This is our only way to make an impact. The only time they need our support is for the incurrence of debt. And we've stated no regional changes to the regional agreement, then we will not vote to support that debt. We support vocational education. We support Minuteman We just want to see changes in the governance of the district.
While I would say overall that the news is not great that you have passed on, you have made things very crystal clear, I think, in terms of what it is that we're looking at with the Minuteman situation. So thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
We'll look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Great.
For your Arlington Dollar and on behalf of Allan Tosti, the chairman of our Finance Committee, I'm James Milan, and thanks for joining us.